Hey everyone, it's Stacy with Crafty Dragon Creations, and I've been a little busy today here in my craft room. I had the day off work, so figured I would play around. So far I've made 5 of these little folio ephemera holders, and I'm going to make some more. I'll just kind of show you. This is a little trifold ephemera holder, and there's 3 pockets on each section and some fun stuff in there. So yeah, I wanted to make some more, and I thought I would bring you guys along for the ride, and maybe you can craft with me. So let me put those aside. What I'm using is 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. This is not super thick. I mean, it's probably like, 24, 22 pound thickness, but and it is single-sided, so we're gonna have to do stuff to the white side, but we're gonna use this whole sheet except for 2 tiny slivers of cuts that we're gonna make, and then we're gonna use scraps and stuff for the pockets. So here's what I did. Now, if you have paper that's not directional, then it doesn't matter how you fold it. If you have something like this that is directional, just decide what you want showing on the outside. So like up here will be showing on the outside. So if I flip it over and bend this side up, this is upside down. Now for me, I'm okay with that because this is all going to be covered up with pockets and stuff, so it doesn't really matter. I did make the mistake on a couple of mine where I made sure the inside was right side up like this, and then it made my whole outside upside down. So just keep that in mind if you're using directional paper. So I'll go ahead and do this one so you can see what I mean by this is going to be covered up and everything. So I'm going to set these aside. Okay, get rid of that for a minute. So like I said, I want the outside of my folio to be right side up. So this part is going to be on the inside, and it'll be upside down. Okay, so what I've kind of been doing, just as a rule of thumb, is I'm using my mat here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going about 7 inches up. You can do this any size you want. You can adapt it to whatever you're doing for your projects. And then we're just going to fold that. It doesn't have to be super crisp. And then this side I'm going to fold in about 3.5 inches. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. You can do 4 inches, you can do 2, you can do whatever you want. Doing it 4 inches, it would all be kind of the same. Like, I think it would all end up as a 4-inch folio, which is fine. But I wanted mine to have a little bit bigger pocket on one side and a little bit smaller on the other, just for some variety. And then also, this side, I'm not going to fold all the way to the edge. I just want a little bit, maybe 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch sticking out. That's just my preference. You can go all the way to the edge if you like. Again, this is up to you how you want to do it. Now you can see that there's some white showing there, because from when we fold the pages, it makes the pages move. So we're going to fix that. If I cut it now and then I open it, it's going to want to pull back. So what I'm going to do is make 2 little slivers on these 2 seams. Then these will fold in even and you should be good. You can also trim these 2 sides and be done with it. But here, I'll kind of show you how it's going to look here. Oops. So you can see how those are kind of slightly cut at a slant, and it just makes folding easier. So that's what we're doing. And the way I'm doing that is, let me find my little green mat here. You don't have to measure this. You can just cut, that's fine. I just kind of got in the habit of doing this as I was making them. So what I'm doing is this fold right here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a score line here, and I'm putting it up to this little line on my mat there. And then I'm going to take my ruler, let me get that back on there. Okay, then I'm going to take my ruler and a craft knife, and I'm going to go from this corner, here on there, from this corner where these 4 meet. Okay, I don't know if you can see that either, but from where these meet, and then I'm going to go down to this little notch just to the right of the 1/2 inch mark. So that's a 1/4, and then that's what, 3/8. And then on the other side, so that's to the right, to the left, I'm going to go down to the notch just to the left of that 1/2 inch mark. Does that make sense? And then it'll kind of give me a little triangular cut there. So there's that one. And you can see, I need to sharpen my blade. Get a new blade. There we go. So then it gives me a little slanted cut. So I'm going to do that on the other side too. Just line it up with a mark. Go from this corner to the notch on the right. And this corner to the notch on the left. Oof, that didn't sound good. Oh no! Okay. Okay. I think I need to fix my blade. I need to get a new blade in there. Okay. So that's all the cutting that we're doing. Okay? So when you fold these back up, you can see you've got some room to play there on the seams. Now to cover up this white back here, I'm just going to take a stencil on this one. Now you can just, take a brush like this and just ink, just kind of give it some color. I'm going to take, I have some stencils here. I think I'll just do this. Kind of go all the way across. I don't know what I dropped. And we don't really have to go all the way down either. You're only going to see about, this much of the top half. So, but you can if you want. That's perfectly fine. No rules. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try a light pink. I don't know if I have. Sorry, Let me see real quick how this Victorian velvet might look. I'm just going to kind of go down there. Yeah, I think that might be pretty. We're going to do that. Okay. And this is just all kinds of different shapes and stuff. No rhyme or reason. Just want to give it a little something. Now, when these get folded up, you know, I mean, this is going to show, so you want to keep that in mind. So you can see, maybe. But, so what I'm going to do there is just kind of go like this. Yeah. So, I don't know if you can see. I may be out just a little too far, but just a little bit more. That way it's just not so stark white. I could even just kind of lightly probably not showing up on camera, but it is adding a little bit of something to tone down that white. Okay, so I like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my notches in here, and you can use a regular circle punch and just do your little half circle. I'm going to use my envelope notch punch. I just actually got this, so I'm pretty obsessed with it. And I really like this thumb hole style. So, oops, sorry, are those glaring? Okay. So, let's get those as much in the middle as I can. There we go. And then I'm not even going to ink that. I mean, I think it's fine the way it is. You can certainly ink it if you want to. If I did, it would probably be with like vintage photo or walnut stain or something. Okay, so now we're going to glue these down. And I'm just going to glue, of course, on either side. I'm just running a very small bead of glue. And I want to make sure I get this side lined up. And the other side just kind of fall into place. Okay. Okay, and so there we go. We have our pocket, and you see how this part is right side up. The inside is upside down. This side doesn't really matter, but you can definitely tell over here. But we're gonna put pockets on there, so it will be okay. Okay, now you can use whatever you want for the pockets. You can use scraps, you can use the same paper, book page, whatever you want. I did tear out some paper from the same pack. I think I want to use this. I think it gives kind of a nice contrast. And these pockets, I want to make them, about, how many is that? Maybe about 2 inches tall. They don't need to be super tall for me. You can make them bigger. In fact, I might even go 2.5. So let me get my cutter here, of which I really need to put a new blade on. Okay, so I want to do 2.5. And I'll be able to get all 3 pockets. See what that does. Need a new blade. Okay, but I can trim that here with my smaller trimmer. Let me find it. Okay, so this pocket, I'm turning it over so I can make a mark on the back so I can see where my mark is. Alright, so this pocket, I want it to come to about there. And then I want this one there. And there. Just cut off just a tiny bit. Okay, so I've made my marks. And I'm gonna cut, so it's that one. Then I'm gonna go ahead and chop off that rough edge at the bottom of all 3. Do them all at the same time so they're somewhat even. I'm just going to cut a tiny little sliver off. I don't want to lose too much. There we go. See, I just cut off that rough edge. Okay. And then I'm going to notch these with the same that I used up there and try to get them all in the middle. They're not all the same size this way, so I just try to, actually it might be better to see on the back. Just try to get them lined up as best as I can. And this is the top. There we go. I just love this thing. Okay. So then we have this one and the longest one and then that one. Yeah, that's cool. Now this one I am going to ink, and I'm going to use walnut stain just to try to, because this is pretty busy, so I want to just try to make this pocket stand out just a little bit. And you guys, you could definitely do this with thicker paper if you plan on putting, you know, heavy stuff in there. I'm not putting a whole lot, so I'm okay with the thinner paper. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to ink up the other 2. Okay, now something else you need to decide kind of at this point is if you want to round all the corners. And the reason I say that is because if you round these 2 corners, it might look better if your pockets are also rounded. So I'm going to go ahead and round just so you can see. And I'm even going to do these corners here. So I'm using, this is the corner punch I'm using, and I'm going to be using this medium setting, which is 7 millimeters. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do these corners. And then I'm going to fold this one and do this corner and this corner. See how that looks? Then I'm going to fold this one and do this corner and this corner. Okay. So then, what if I put my pockets in? I mean, it looks okay. You know, I mean, you could certainly just, you know, you could certainly leave it like that. Not a big deal. But if I have the bottom rounded, I like to have the corner of these rounded as well. So, see if I can do all three at once here. Okay. There we go. And you could even round these corners if you want to, but I'm not going to do that on this one. I just think it masks better, or mats. Are these on the wrong one? Yeah, okay. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to glue these down. Okay, and I also didn't go all the way to the bottom. Of course, you can if you want. I like this look, so I just left a little bit of an edge. Okay, now we need one more pocket on each, and they're going to be pretty skinny. So let's see if I just have enough. That's not enough contrast. Now what I did on the others is I made this one fit this panel. These two, for some reason, I made them shorter. I'm not really sure why, but I'll show you what I mean. I don't know why I did that. I mean, it doesn't bother me, and I purposely did it on. So you see, this one kind of fits. This one is shorter and it goes to the left. This one is shorter and comes to the right. It's also taller. But, I mean, like I said, there's no really a good reason why I did that. I just did for some reason. So, again, you can do whatever you want. You can have just a tiny little pocket. You can have a pocket that fits the whole length. You know, whatever you want to do. I probably did that because of the scraps I had. So, okay, so I'm going to cut this one down about an inch and a about an inch and a quarter. And this one I'm going to trim down to an inch and a quarter as well. And I think this one is about already an inch and a quarter. Yeah. Okay. So that one will match that one. Okay, so that's going to be a little short, which is fine. That's a little long, so I'm just going to fold this in half and trim it. Okay, so that's fine. That one's a little too long. Or I need some bigger scissors. There we go. Trim that one down just a little. And that one's a little short, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to put a notch in each of these. Okay, there we go. So those are squared corners against rounded corners. But I think it's fine. I think it'll work. Okay, so now we're going to fill this baby. So over here, I have these little tiny little angel cherub cards. I think I got these from Temu. So I'm just gonna put 3 in there. And then in here, I have these definition things. So I just picked out 3 random words. I'm gonna put those in there. And over here, I have these labels that I made. So I'm going to put 3 of these in here. And they're blank, so a person can stamp something on there or leave them blank, whatever they choose to do. And then in this pocket, I have some little miniature bingo cards. I have these in my Etsy shop. So I'm going to put 2 of those in there. And then in this middle one, oops, I have this basket full of vintage labels, which I did a masterboard with a bunch of these. I'll link that video below. So I'm just going to pick out 2 random ones here. I'll go this way. And then in here, oh yeah, I have these are playing cards that someone cut. I don't know, I bought them like this, so I just thought they were kind of cool. And then I have these with this pretty older lady on them, so put 1 of those each in there. And then in this pocket, I made some scrap booklets where I just took some paper, scraps of paper, and put a little header on there and stapled it. I think it has 10 little sheets of paper in there. So those can be used for, oh, that's too big. Okay, we're gonna have to go. Actually, I think I have one that's little thinner. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Get that in there. There we go. So we have our little scrap booklet in there. And then in here, what, oh yeah. I have some a bunch of postcards, so I'm just gonna pick this one. It's a buffalo. Last remnants of the great herds which roamed through the Old West. And I don't know how old this is, but you can see it's been, I mean, it's a real postcard. It's kind of stained and a little older looking, so everybody gets a postcard. And then in this pocket, I have this pad of this receipt. I was gonna show you. Oh yeah, here it is. So I found this pad. When I saw it from afar, I thought it was guest checks, but no, it's from a garage in Foster, Missouri, and you can see it's from the 1920s. So everybody gets a red and a black, and they're stamped with a number. So we're gonna slip these in here. Very carefully. And there we go. Alright, now we're gonna make the closure, which is super easy. Because I have a pocket here, I didn't want to put a brad through there because then you couldn't really cover it, it would get in the way, but I wanted the little circle closure thing. So what I did is, hold on. Okay, so I have this piece of 6x6 paper. It's pink, and I had sprayed some, I think that's walnut stain, Tim Holtz spray on there. So I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna just cut a little 1-inch square. Cut that off. So let's see. Or excuse me, I'm gonna do 1 1/4. Yeah, 1 1/4. Look, this side here. Okay, so I have that. And then I'm going to, I have punched out in this little tray here a bunch of circles that one day I just randomly started punching. So I'm gonna find one that I like. Yeah, I like that. It's got a little script on it. And I'm gonna make it a little thick by gluing others to it that I don't like. And that's why I punched a bunch of these random things out so that I could glue them together, and it uses up a little scrap paper because we all like to make these little things a little bit thick. This is also a good way to make faux buttons. Oh, I kind of like that one. I don't like that one. There we go. But yeah, this is a good way to make some faux buttons. Just glue a bunch of these together so they get nice and thick, and then punch your holes, and got a nice thick circle button there. Okay, and I'm going to ink around this, and I'm going to ink around this. And then I could do a brad in here, but I'm going to staple it. I've never seen anybody do this, so I don't know if it's been done. but I used my tiny attacher. I'm sure you could use a regular size stapler. So put the little staple in there, which I don't think looks bad at all. I think it looks kind of cute, and it's different. my Oklahoma accent coming out there. So anyway, it's a little different. And then I'm gonna find some baker's twine. Let's see, do we want to use this orange? No. No. How about the green? Okay, let's use the green. And before I cut it off of here, because I don't know yet, you could probably do like 3 or 4 times the width of this. But I'm going to go ahead and tie it on here first. So a little bit more there. And what I do is, okay, so I've tied my knot, right? Then I'm going to tie a knot on the other side. So this knot is over here, and I'm going to tie one over here, because I feel like that helps lift the circle part a little bit. I don't know if it does, but I feel like it does. It puts a pretty good little gap in there. And I'm going to cut this one off. Sorry, this part's kind of fiddly. Okay. So we got that. I'm just gonna hold it here and 1, 2, 3 with a little extra to wrap around. Okay. And then I'm gonna glue this on the front. So you're not seeing anything. This side is preserved, but it still does its job. And you could round these corners if you wanted. You can round, you know, opposite corners, which I did on one. Kind of like that shape. And just glue it where you want it. Take my bone folder and get that down. Yeah, I think having a knot on each side really helps lift that. I mean, I can get my bone folder under there. And then, yeah, 1, 2, get under there, 3, and wrap it around. And there you go. It's our little Trifold Folio. So there's room, a little bit room for it to grow. And you get some cool stuff in there. And you can, of course, you know, decorate the front of this more if you want. I'm just kind of leaving them with the paper that I use. I think it's pretty. You can put a little bead or a charm on the end of this if you want. So yeah, there we go. That's pretty quick and easy, huh? Yeah, like I said, once I got going, I was like, this is fun and it's quick. And, you know, if you do something like this, once you get going and you know what you're doing and what needs to be done, it goes pretty quick. So yeah. Alright guys, there we go. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you make one of these, and yeah, I want to see how it turns out. You can tag me on Instagram. You can also use the hashtag Crafty Dragon Creations, and show me your projects. And if you like this video, which I hope you did, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And be sure and hit that subscribe button before you leave here. I would appreciate that as well. Alright guys, until the next time. Bye-bye.